morning. It is the Going On Daily Live morning show. That means you're in store for something great. Let me just tell you. I am joined by Kyle again, pressed into action as, you know, it's sad because we don't know what happened to Tony. Last I knew, he was in a canoe sailing to that second Jurassic Park island.
Uh-oh.
And he contacted us when he made landfall, but we haven't heard from him since. So I'm a little worried that he's lunch or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
So a little worried.
Yeah. Being lunch
but Kyle, welcome.
Yeah, welcome. Yeah. This is awesome. Excited. Good show today.
We've got a good one because I'll tell you, that conversation we had about a couple of topics last week was awesome. And I am looking forward to this one. We're going to be talking shame and judgment.
Yeah.
And it's very relevant to me because look, when you were young, that was the norm.
Yeah.
Whether it's from parents, whether it's from teachers, whether it's just some random adult, you know, in the playgrounds, you know, everywhere. It was relevant. And, you know, I'm excited to do this one because I want to know what your thoughts are. And you bringing this topic really is going to be very, very interesting. And I implore everybody to make sure you watch this segment because it's important, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
We also have a new queen of the box office.
Ooh.
Dethroning the two kings. So that is interesting as well. And of course, you got some mountain unicycle things going on. And I'll tell you, that just sounds dangerous to me. It is something that I'm probably never going to attempt. So, because I will end up face first on some mountain ridge, never to be heard from again.
Yeah.
And of course, Kyle, I don't know if you've gotten to experience this yet, but you've got the Ron's Top 5 coming.
Oh, I don't
think you've experienced it.
Yeah, I know. I have not had the experience yet.
So you are going to get that pleasure, let me tell you.
I love it.
And, you know, I know Kenny, who's probably out there listening to us right now because he's working, so he should only be listening.
Oh, yeah, not participating because
get ready for the disrespect,
working,
because you're not gonna like it.
Working, you know, gotta be working. Ooh, I still love that mug. I mean, I love my mug too, but
yes, I mean we will get into that mug very shortly. Yep. And speaking of which, let's talk about where people can find us. If you're watching us right now, and there are people watching right now. You are probably on one of these socials, Kick, YouTube, and Rumble at Rhode Island Broadcasting, or Twitch at RI_broadcasting. And I don't know, Kyle, I don't know why I put the underscore in there. Have no idea. I don't know. But I did. I think I just wanted to space it out as if nobody could figure out it was RI Broadcasting. So I just wanted to make sure people knew that it was RI and then Broadcasting, not Rib Roadcasting.
Yeah, Rib Roadcasting.
I think that's why I did it.
Yeah, that I mean, it sounds like a good reason.
I think that's why I did it. But if you're on Twitch, you can send us out bits. Bits helps us keep the show going. So throw out a couple of bits. They're only pennies. Just mere pennies. So it helps the show. And also, if you're on YouTube, click that little bell so you always know we go live. And if you're on Rumble, we've only been doing Rumble for about a week. So come on, be heard out there. Make some comments, join the show. You can also watch us after it's done. We post it up on Odyssey and U42 at RI Broadcasting. And you can also listen to the show at Spotify, Red Circle, and Tune In. And Red Circle, let me tell you, you can do some donations there too. We are not begging for the money, but it would be pretty cool to get, some support out there, so that way it keeps all the lights on. That's important, and it keeps all the hosts. You if you like Kyle, you want to keep him around, right? There you go. Throw him a few pennies. Throw him a few pennies.
Pennies are nice.
And don't forget all of our socials: MeWe, TikTok, LinkedIn, Blue Sky, Space Hey. There's also Gab and Parla. We're on everything. And Kyle, I did register for Noster.
Oh,
so
okay.
The process is beginning on that.
Okay.
So I gotta do all the other stuff and make sure things are up there, and but that will be starting. So
that's super exciting. Yeah.
And of course, Kyle, in order to get that mug, you got to go to Patreon.
Oh,
get on Patreon and subscribe for only $2 a month. It supports the show, and then you start getting some merch.
Merch is good. Yeah,
I love this mug.
Yeah,
I use it every morning for the show, especially when I'm on.
Yeah, gotta represent.
Generally about 2 times a week, sometimes 3 or 4, depending on how many people are out. Tony, come on. Hope you're still alive out there. Legendary Tony Jones in Rhode Island. Legendary.
And hopefully not eaten by a dinosaur.
Hopefully not.
Yeah.
Hopefully he just dropped his cell phone into the water or something like that. So pretty funny. Also, you can find us on Facebook. On the Facebook page, the Going On Daily Morning Show. So get on that. We'd like to see some people. Look, we had 10,000 followers on the Rhode Island Broadcasting until Mark Zuckerberg took it, snatched it right from under us. So we got to build that up once again. So get on that. Maybe I know Becky. Good morning. Kyle for the win today. See that? Stepped in. That's right. He did. He because I wasn't sure there was going to be a show this morning because we couldn't get in touch with Tony. So he steps in, and here we are. So Becky, if you can you post the link in the comments for the Facebook page? That would be awesome.
Yes.
So, and also you can go to Rhode-IslandBroadcasting.net. Got the website up and running.
That's super exciting.
I mean, we had the website going before, but I decided to scrap it and redo it. And it is going to be great because now we can do donations on there, any amount of dollars. So if you want to donate $10 million, if you're like, I don't know, Elon or somebody that wants to get rid of isn't Warren Buffett trying to get rid of his money?
I don't know.
So somebody send a message to Warren and give him, the Rhode-IslandBroadcasting.net. He can donate there.
And it doesn't have to be 10. I mean, we could do 1 or 2 or,
yes.
50. You could do 50 too.
Yeah. So any amount, any amount, preferably in the millions. But that's besides the point. You can touch many lives with that money.
Mm-hmm.
You can touch many lives. I know 8 right off the top of my head. I think it's
I might have to think about that. Well, I know one. I know Ron talking to me right now. So
Yes.
there's one at least. You
Yeah,
know.
and we have
Yeah,
Becky that's there.
yeah.
Click
And
here.
Becky's here. Yeah, Becky's. Oh, yep. Posting links.
There we
Cool.
go. So get on that. Look, you just follow us. This is the best morning show you're ever gonna find anywhere. I don't care where. You know,
Yeah.
this is it. This is the best one.
Hmm.
And if you don't like a certain host, you just don't watch that one. You watch all the others. But how could you not like any of these hosts? All right. So, with that being said, it is episode 128 already this year for season 2,
Mm.
Sleepers. And that's got something to do with one of the topics today. Something to do with it.
Ooh.
Okay,
Yep.
Kyle, let's get into it. I know this is
Okay.
going to be a good conversation, and we'll probably be able to talk for days on this.
Yep. That is very accurate. Yeah. Shame and judgment. Boy. Yeah. Like what you said earlier. It's one of the things we use, and it's been used for forever. It's still used. It's not just parents and friends and whoever else. Society, they love that one.
Yeah,
That's in a lot of ways it's like, oh well, you don't want to say that or you get canceled. If that's not shame and judgment, I don't really know what is.
right. I mean,
So
it is anything to put you down for something you say or do. I
mhm.
mean, basically, that's what it
Yeah,
comes down to.
yeah, yeah, and I
It
think
happens all the time.
yeah, yeah, and I think one of the biggest things that I focus on um, because it's society's going to do, other people are going to do, everyone's going to do whatever it is they're going to do. But when we put the shame and judgment on ourselves, or we accept the shame and judgment from everyone else, it makes it really hard for us to function and work in
Mm,
our lives and just move forward. Just be our own human being. And so a lot of what we do is put the shame and judgment on ourselves. Now our mind is super smart. So it's going to do it in a way so that we don't pay attention to how it is that we are shaming and judging ourselves. And oh
yeah,
no, I don't do that. Just like anybody out there thinking, I don't talk to myself. Do I talk to myself? That's it's the thoughts that go on in our mind, and
yeah,
a lot of them are super subtle, which makes it really hard to spot what's actually going on. But when we remove the shame and judgment from all of the different things in our life, then we just simply have experiences that we've gone through. If you think about whatever childhood experience that you had, and oh gosh, that was so awful, and I felt all the feelings around it, felt awful about it, embarrassed, and all of that. But if you remove the shame and judgment, you go, oh, okay, yep, I learned that those people were not nice, and
yeah,
they had all kinds of thoughts that were probably not helpful, perhaps not healthy, and so now I know better how to spot those kinds of people, and I realize in however many ways, hopefully anyway, that I could have responded probably differently to how the situation happened or what I did or any of those things. But without the shame and judgment, you can think clearly about whatever it is that happened in your life.
yeah,
And that it just clears up so much of this we carry. We carry this, and it's like, oh well, I can't say that because then I'm going to feel bad because of shame and judgment. And
yeah. And it's something that can snowball and become
mhm,
bigger and bigger and bigger of a burden on you. And at the same time, you may be getting it from other people as well.
mhm. Oh yeah. Yep.
And so it's just piled on until you just can't carry the burden. And, you could have a breakdown or much
Mhm.
worse. It could
Yep.
affect you health wise. I mean, this is a massive. Um, I don't know what quite the word I want to say, but just trying to come out from under it. It's like
Hmm.
the big dig.
Yeah.
You're trying to unbury yourself from all this shame, and the burden is just so much, and it might not be, you know, able to come out from under
Yeah.
because it's so big and
Yeah.
heavy.
Yeah. And we want to bury it, and we don't want to face it, and we certainly don't want to get any more, from friends, parents, kids, society. I mean, and everybody's throwing it around, and
Yeah.
and it just is not helpful.
I
We
mean, it could
can't.
be something small too.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing. Like shame, because I just go back to when I was a kid,
Hmm. Yeah.
and I remember getting glasses.
Hmm.
And it's like everybody sees you all this time without glasses, and glasses seem to be one of those stigmas on
Hmm.
kids that they didn't
Yep.
want.
Yep.
And then when you have to show up and use your glasses for the first time, everybody like is stunned, and you hear like the gasp and the whispers, and
Hmm.
and whether or not they're actually doing that,
Yeah.
in your mind you're thinking it
Yeah.
because you feel shame that you have to wear glasses for the, oh my gosh, this is like the end of the world,
Yep.
and
And
that is
it takes you out of yourself.
yeah,
Then all of your thoughts are about whatever it is that they're thinking or what they're saying, or any of those things, which does
right,
not allow you to be yourself, to
yeah,
just show up as yourself, because you're
yeah.
thinking
I
about
had a
them.
problem with that. I'd be a
Yeah.
big problem.
Yeah.
So, I, oof. This is
Yeah.
why this is good, because this hits everybody, and I don't care who you are.
Hmm.
It hits
Yeah.
everybody, whether you're doing it to yourself or you're perceived
Hmm.
as thinking everybody is thinking that,
Yep.
and it's all in here.
Hmm. Yep. And it holds us back from everything in our lives. It's held me back from, I can't even imagine how many different things. And and that's and and I do want to just touch on, that it doesn't mean that we shouldn't be conscientious, because I think being conscientious, I don't necessarily, I have a truck driver's mouth, and I drove truck for a long time, and work construction and all of those things, and I have a truck driver's mouth, and I also don't necessarily swear a lot. Um, mm, Probably in my personal life, I do much more, but I'm conscientious around other people, and so, but it doesn't mean that it's not me. I just choose. Okay, I don't need to use an emphasizing word here. But I think being conscientious is very different than having the shame and judgment. maybe I
Yeah,
maybe I shouldn't say this because they might be offended, or they might be upset, or they might not like that I talk about this. I mean, that's on the daily for me, talking about things that nobody really wants to talk about.
well, it's important that people start talking about these things,
Yeah.
because you know there's that self shame and judgment,
Hmm.
but what's a bigger problem, and it is a problem, is the shame and judgment coming from others.
Yeah, and I think it's the opposite of that, because because if we don't accept their shame and judgment, then that's a them problem, not
Right.
not an us problem. And I think that's because it's one of the most empowering things you can do, is to look at everyone else and go, okay, they have their issues, and maybe I will take lightly some of the things that they say, and I can take feedback. That's totally fine. But accepting any of the shame and judgment from them, because then that's another burden for us to carry. And if we're carrying that, we continue to perpetuate the shame and judgment going on with society. I wouldn't be who I am now without letting go of so much of all of that.
Yeah, I
Because
mean that's just it. If you can do that, but with the with what goes on in the media,
Mhm,
and when you hear people, of course they always have to put their 2 cents into everything. It's like, oh, this person is this and that person is that, and it's it's more the judgment game than
mhm,
anything
mhm,
with the outside world,
mhm.
because you're not accepted in
Mhm.
society unless you're this, and
Yep,
it goes to sexual preference, it goes to race and everything.
yep,
Oh, you can't get into this country club
yeah,
because you don't make enough money.
mhm,
And but it's still that judgment because
mhm.
you're not our class.
Yeah, but when we take that on for ourselves, ooh, I'm not good enough. So that's
Right.
why I can't get in there.
Yeah.
And a lot of, well, like what I said, it's a lot of this is all subtle, and it's hard to work out. Okay, which are the thoughts that they're trying to put on me, and which are the ones that I'm accepting or that I have adopted about myself. That I'm not good enough, or I say the wrong things. All of that judgment. But when we let go of that, then they get to say what they want. And now it doesn't mean, I talking about, people on the internet. I don't talk about all different things on the internet because I know that there's a lot of people that would like to just try to shred me about whatever my views or thoughts are on things. So
Yes.
I don't necessarily talk about those things. Um, and so I choose to do that, but not because of the shame and judgment. I just don't need to disrupt my peace in order to have all of the hate and discomfort from from people who probably don't have wonderful lives. Because if you don't
Yeah.
have a very good life and all you have, or if all you have to do is comment hate and discontent on people's views, or whatever it is on the internet, then you probably are not happy with your life. And
So it's more along the lines, you have to be self-aware
mhm,
and just
yeah,
let it roll off your back kind of thing.
yeah,
And
kind
just
of.
not be drawn into this way of
Mhm.
thinking.
Yeah, but I think the one of the most important parts with all of the emotions, everything that we feel, is to make sure that we acknowledge it. Because it's very different to say, oh, I'm just not gonna accept that. And and there is a point for that, and that's good. But at the same time, if we feel however it is that we feel, that that's something that must be acknowledged, or it affects us. So acknowledging, okay, yep, that one made me angry, you know, and and that's good for us to acknowledge that feeling. But then we get to choose then what we want to do with it. So I'm angry, and I'm also going to let this go. And not for their benefit, or I think they're right, or that I shouldn't have said this, but to keep my own peace. It brings your power back into yourself, your own autonomy, you know, and that's a huge part of it. But we don't want to, because that's a lot of the shame and judgment in ourselves. Is I'm not going to face this in me. I don't want to face this emotion because it's uncomfortable, and then I'm going to feel like I'm bad, or I'm wrong, or there's something wrong with me. And so I'm going to just pretend that didn't happen so that I don't have to feel the way that I feel. And that's a
Okay.
lot of the shame and judgment inside of ourselves.
So most of it comes from inside.
most of it is from inside, and that's really where it's important anyway. I mean, people get to spew their thoughts, and I think, there's however many people that just don't really realize, because it's so in our society, that the way that they say things, being lazy, we'll just say that one, that's an easy one. Oh, I'm just lazy, so I haven't gotten this done. I mean, what is lazy anyway? I mean, there's so much shame and judgment in that. Oh, I took a nap because I'm lazy. Maybe you were tired. Maybe you needed the rest. Maybe, maybe there's a million other things going on that you just actually needed that. Maybe it's not actually lazy at all. Maybe you made the choice, which we can do, in order to take the nap.
This is true.
Yeah. I
This
mean,
is true.
maybe you don't want to do whatever thing it is that you're avoiding doing, but then you call yourself lazy in order to shame and judge yourself.
And Becky just made a great point in that, because
Yeah.
I'm guilty of that too, not resting and relaxing. She said it took me getting stage 3 cancer to rest. And even still now, I feel like I'm being lazy when I don't have plans. And I know exactly how
Mm-hmm.
she feels in that.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
if you rest, it's bad. And it's
Mhm.
your own thinking that
Yep.
it's
Yep. We shame and judge ourselves, and I'll just say, as far as, I don't have plans. No, you do have plans. You have plans that you don't have anything planned there, and and that's important. I love white space on my calendar. It's great. It's one of the best things, and I like that time. Now, I like to schedule things, but I like to have a lot of stuff not scheduled. Now, of
yeah.
course, I could shame and judge myself for all of the times when I'm not productive in that time. But you should see my
Yeah.
schedule, back to back, and I'm drowning most days. If I don't make plans, then what am I doing? It's weird to be conditioned to believe this. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's,
and I think this is society, right?
yeah. Well, and we don't want to say no. There's, oh
Right.
gosh, I don't want to say no
Yeah.
to doing whatever it is, because then I'm going to get the shame and judgment of everyone else. Well, you should go do. Ooh, that's a big one. Should. You should go do this. You should go, or you shouldn't do that. Hey, you should do this other thing. Yeah.
We're all guilty of this.
Yeah, for sure. It is a, and that's, probably one of the biggest things is, this is all a practice for us it's not perfection. It's a practice for us to work on, and it's a process of becoming aware of the ways where we are picking up the stick, and we are trying to beat ourselves into healing or submission or work or anything else that we want to that we want to do. I mean, even if we want to do it, that's a good thing. But if we try to beat ourselves using shame and judgment into getting that thing done, it's never sustainable in the long term.
That's interesting. That is
Mm-hmm.
interesting, because when you stop pulling things everywhere from in your life, I mean, just as simple as dieting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a
I
huge
mean,
one.
if there's one thing that you can put that that word on, shame,
Yep.
it's dieting.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Oh, I shouldn't
massive.
have eaten that. Oh, I shouldn't have eaten that. And
Right.
and perhaps that might be the case. Maybe I should not have eaten that. But it doesn't help, to shame and judge ourselves for it. Okay, next time I may choose not to eat that. But it was good. It was yummy. I enjoyed it. You know, that's and it's hard. That none of this is easy.
Yeah.
And that's a huge point in all of this. None of this is easy to do.
No.
It's simple. It's simple because, okay, we acknowledge, we allow the emotion to be there. we don't, we don't try to shame and judge ourselves for having the emotion. And so with allowing it to be there, it takes the charge out of that emotion. When you're super angry, it is really hard to let go of that anger. But when you have taken the charge, allowed the charge to come out of that emotion, it's much easier to then let it go. And that's with so many of the emotions that we have. Oh, I shouldn't have eaten that. When you have that, that feeling, that's a charged emotion.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to let go of a charged emotion. And a lot of that is surrounded by shame and judgment. And so
and you'll beat yourself up for that
yeah,
for a while.
yep. And some of it is like, no, we're not, just like you would do with a toddler. They come, come at you, and they're all angry, and you're like, whoa, hey there, buddy. Well, no, that's enough. They're like, we're not, throwing down on them. We're stopping their offense here.
Hopefully we're not doing that, right?
Yeah, hopefully we're not doing that. But that's what we do with ourselves. Is we come at ourselves, fists ready. And what we have to do in a lot of ways is whoa, hey, let's take a breather. It's okay. I'm going to take a deep breath. It's going to be all right. I made the decision I made. I did the thing. I said the thing. I didn't do the thing. It's okay. And
Becky,
I get to decide.
Becky made a good point. Boundaries are hard, and never say no. And you have to be able to say no at times. Yep. And I know I do the same thing. I mean, somebody asked me, the other day if I could help them, help them help a friend. Mm-hmm. And of course, I say sure. And then they change the day and say, oh, can you do it Tuesday instead? And I'm like, okay. And it's like, is it okay? Is that really okay?
Yeah.
And at some point you do have to say no. Mm-hmm. You can't just like
at some point you get to say no. And I think that's another one of those, oh, I have to say no, which almost brings up shame and judgment in and itself.
Yeah.
Rather than saying, you know what, I get to say no.
Right.
I get to say no. Right. I get to take a nap. I get to go to work. I mean, I have to go to work. There's so much shame and judgment in that. Oh, I have to go to work. I have to make a paycheck. All of those things. And we are just
everything. What life's about.
Yeah, we're just picking that up and beating on ourselves. Yeah.
I don't know. This is a dandy of one.
Yeah.
And every little decision seems to bring up some form of it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Whether it's one way or the other, it's almost like you can't even avoid it.
Yeah.
It's just like the yes/no thing. I mean, if it's yes, you could shame yourself for saying yes all the time. If it's no, mm-hmm. then oh my God, I'm always helping people, so I should do this again. Why am I saying no?
I've said yes to everybody else, so I should say yes to this person now.
Right. Yeah. And again, every decision you make, it becomes a factor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. This is.
Yeah, lots on this one. We could talk for days, for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
The mind does some crazy things.
Yeah.
And when you condition yourself into doing things,
heavy on a Tuesday morning.
That's right.
Yep.
That is right.
And I think bringing some light into it, because it is heavy, but it doesn't have to be heavy, because that's more judgment on it. We're talking about this. Oh, so it's a serious thing. But maybe we're just I got to make the decision. I got to do whatever it is, and it'll be okay. And if it's not okay, I'll make it okay. And
look, you can always do the George Costanza thing. Whatever your instincts are, just do the opposite. Just do the opposite.
Yeah. We're dancing around, walking on eggshells with ourselves.
With ourselves.
So yep.
With ourselves. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care.
Yeah.
Think what you want. Do what you want. I don't care. I'm doing me.
Yeah.
That's it. No more shame. No more shame.
Yep.
All right. Becky said it great. It is getting heavy, so let us make the thing a little lighter. And this is why I came prepared today. I came prepared.
You're ready.
Queen of the box office. Look, I am astonished on the numbers. Okay. So with the release of Jurassic World Rebirth, which made, what was it, 137 million for the opening weekend. It's just a weekend. 137 million.
How was your weekend? I made 137.
No. It wasn't that. It was 147. I'm sorry. I was off by 10 million.
Yeah. It's
147.3 opening weekend, right? 318.3 million globally.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's not bad. Now I have to wonder where's the break even point? How much did it cost them to make the?
Like some movies this size are probably somewhere in the 400 to 500 million.
So
that's the goal.
We're almost break even.
Yeah. So after next week, after this coming weekend, it should be fine, right? But look what that did. It made box office history.
Oh.
Scarlett Johansson is now the highest grossing lead actor of all time. All time.
Wow. That's
not Denzel, not Tom Hanks, not Al Pacino, De Niro, or Harrison Ford, all these big blockbusting movies that they've had in their time. Scarlett Johansson has brought in more money on films than anyone else.
So now I have to wonder. I have to ask the question and wonder. So the movies that were in the 90s, or any other time, what's the cost adjusted,
Right. That's the thing that it's not accounted for.
Yeah. There's the
but it's always going to be the next generation that breaks it because the prices just keep climbing, right? But her movies have grossed $14.61 billion. Now, to me, that doesn't sound like a lot because, Titanic made $1 billion. Avengers made $1 billion.
Okay.
The end game or whatever it was. Avatar made $1 billion.
14 times more? That isn't that isn't that much.
That's not that high. But she's done it in 36 movies. Her average movie makes $405.9 million worldwide. Her average movie. So Jurassic World Rebirth isn't even at the average yet. That movie is going to make her go higher on that average.
Mm.
Now, she's at 14.61 billion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Samuel L. Jackson, which I'm stunned that it's Samuel L. Jackson in second place.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
I'm stunned.
Yeah.
But he did have a hand in all those Avenger movies,
Oh, yeah.
the X-Men movies, and a bunch of others, right? 14.6. She just passed him.
Huh.
He had 71 movies to get there. She did
Oh,
it in 36.
wow. That's wild.
36. He's had double the movies.
Yep. Yeah, Becky said it doesn't seem like a lot to Ron because he's independently wealthy.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I just have that in my pocket, my $14.6 billion.
It's a rounding error. It's just that's chump change. I mean,
Yeah. And Robert Downey Jr. is third, 14.3 billion. He's got to step up his game.
yeah.
Well, he's got a new movie coming out soon too, so he'll pass that up again. It's going to do well.
They're playing leapfrog
but
now.
he did it in 45 movies. 45.
45, huh?
I can't believe it. So the Jungle Book, which she was in, 951 million. Sing, 631, and Lucy, 457 million were some of her movies and what they made. Of course, she was, the Black Widow in all the Avenger movies. So those get on her books too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
That's just incredible. I'm stunned that it's Scarlett Johansson. I'm stunned. I'm not saying that she doesn't deserve it.
Yeah.
I mean, does anybody really deserve it? But that's besides the point.
So there's a little judgment, right?
But it's a star, so
yeah,
nothing I say is going to hurt them.
Yeah, I was talking about
it's jealousy, right? It's jealousy.
I mean, now everybody's going to go watch the movie. I haven't watched the movie yet, but everybody's going to go watch the movie because we were talking.
I was supposed to. I was there in the theater. The movie started.
Oh.
And then we had a storm roll through, knocks out the power.
Oh.
So we're sitting in there in the theater, and about 20 minutes later, they come in and say the movie is not going to restart, and you can get a refund.
Like, don't you guys have generators? Come on, run it on generators. Come on, let's go. We came for the show.
Yeah. So did not get to see it. So now the plan is, because there was no time for me to see it between last Thursday and today. So my plan is to go see Jurassic World Saturday and then probably just go see Superman right after that.
Oh, double. Do a double Saturday.
Yeah. That's the plan. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. I don't know, because I'm still skeptical on Superman. But so Scarlett Johansson, who's 40 years old, is now the queen of the box office for at least a little while.
Yeah.
Until probably the next Robert Downey Jr., which is Doomsday, comes out.
Totally depends on that movie, though. She's got another head start on this one. So if they do however many, they do a couple.
If it does another 100 million.
Yeah.
This coming week, if it does another 100 million, then she's gonna be way ahead.
Yeah.
By 0.1.
Gonna have to 0.1.
I don't know. And nobody, we have Superman, and nobody in there is close, obviously. And then Fantastic Four, nobody's close in that one either. So I think the summer is safe for her to be the queen.
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Pretty exciting for her.
Yeah. So we still have 15 minutes to do two more topics. That's going to be interesting.
Okay, we'll get it
So
done.
let's get this going. The mountain cycle, right? The mountain unicycle,
Mountain
sorry.
unicycle, yeah. Muni. That's
Muni.
what,
Oh,
yeah,
oh, I
Muni,
like that.
mountain unicycle. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's my license plate actually.
Couldn't it just be money?
Yeah,
MUNI? Money?
yeah. I mean, that's probably what a lot of people, oh, money. He's talking about money. No, no, no. I'm talking
Yeah.
about mountain unicycle. Yeah. I have been, it's been, let's see here, 22, just over 22 years that I have been riding a unicycle, and 21 years first. Well, no, I mean, probably, yeah, 22 years that I've been riding mountain unicycle. And so rode a unicycle as my mountain bike for probably 16 years, 15, 16 years, something like that. Gave
So
my
you
mountain
go on
bike
all
to
the
my dad.
trails and everything?
Yeah, on all the trails, and yeah, been down to Moab, and I don't know if you know any of all of that stuff. What on earth?
Exactly, Becky. This is
Uh,
what I'm saying. I would probably kill myself on this thing.
Well, you don't start out riding unicycle in the mountains. You start out
Well,
riding
no.
unicycle in the
I don't know if
parking
I'd
lot.
end going there either.
Yeah.
Well, that would be the end if I did go. That would be the end. Like,
I love
what
that
happens
you
when you come
found.
across a tree that fell?
Well, I mean, it's really easy because the unicycle is, I mean, it's simple to carry. You just pick it up and you walk around or under or over, or, I mean, it's way easier than carrying a bike. That's, that's certainly a benefit. Didn't think there was a way to make unicycle extreme, but here we are. Oh, yes, extreme unicycle. I don't know if it's extreme or not. See, and one of the things,
Gotta be.
everybody says, oh my gosh, that's so dangerous and whatever. But if you look at like mountain bike racing and just people riding mountain bikes, I mean, for lack of a better term, they're doing 20, 30, 40 miles an hour down the trail, essentially in their underwear, kind of. It's like spandex bike shorts, and I mean, there's not much to protect you when you're doing 20, 30, 40 miles an hour down a trail or on the road. Either way. On a unicycle, I'm not doing 20 miles an hour. I'm not going that fast. Now, when I fall down, I've fallen down and gotten dirt on my cheek, before. So just flop, and oh wow, that was exciting. So there's danger, I suppose, but I'm not going that fast. So most of the time I can step off and run and not even let my unicycle drop on the ground. I mean, I'm not going to pretend all the time. I'm not that good, but the danger is there, but it's also mitigated. And I wear lots of armor. I wear pads everywhere because I got tired of falling down, getting scraped up, and then saying, oh, I'm going to wear pads next time so I don't get hurt. And I put the pad on and it hurts my wound from the last time that I fell down. So I was like, nope, I'll just wear the armor all the time if I go ride.
I'd have
And
to wear like a suit of armor
oh yeah,
for me to attempt this, like
yeah,
literal suit of armor.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, I just find it. I just find it hard to imagine, going down like some dirt trail on a
Hmm.
unicycle when there's all kinds of obstacles.
Hmm.
I mean, it's hard enough to go on these trails just on foot.
Yeah. Yep. It's true. It is probably, and I swam laps, for a while. But I think this probably mountain unicycle is probably the best full body workout that I've had,
Really?
because you use all of, you see the handle, if I'm pointing there, the handle on the front of the seat, that's what that is, sticking off the front of the seat there. It's a handle, and so you can hold on to that handle and use your arm to pull your body to put more pressure on the pedal, so you can pedal harder using the handle. And yep, engaging your core constantly. It's true. And then except for the unicycles now, which you want to talk about extreme unicycling, they have some that coast, so you can pedal forward and then it freewheels just like a regular bike would. And that's extreme to me. I can't ride one of those. I am not capable of that. But most
You gonna try to
unicycles,
ride one on a high wire?
no, and I don't like heights either. So I mean, I don't know, maybe, but I don't have good enough balance in order to be able to do that at this point in my life, anyway. So maybe at some point, that's maybe something I need to take on. But I prefer the mountains. It's beautiful up there. I get a good workout. I get a workout in less time than I would on a bike, because either you're pedaling or you're walking.
Yeah.
There's no in between.
I mean, to me, I feel like I would be falling down the mountain constantly.
Well, yeah, I
Just
mean, you gotta,
one big fall.
it's kind of a game of falling down, but I could have pretty much anyone, if they're not afraid to fall down, and obviously put some armor all over your body, but I could have pretty much anyone that wanted to ride a unicycle riding a unicycle in a parking lot in about 2 hours. About 2 hours, and you could be riding around the parking lot.
You
Yeah.
do the paths that are like right on the edge of the mountain.
I've done some of those. Yeah, those are a little intimidating. They're intimidating on a bike too, though, and I worry doing it on a bike. If you tip over, it's hard to just stop yourself. Whereas with the unicycle, I can just kick the unicycle out and stand on the trip to Idaho. This is gonna be legit. Ron's learning how to ride unicycle.
I don't know about that one. I don't know if I'd do a unicycle.
It's
See,
not for everybody.
I think I'm a control freak. I'm guessing, because I don't like not being 100% in control. Like, I don't like to fly because of that reason. It isn't the fact that you look out the window, oh, you're so far up. It is the fact that I'm not flying the plane.
and also if you don't know how to,
my life is in somebody else's hands.
yeah, but also at the same time, if you don't know how to fly, then do I want to put it in their hands? Since I don't know how to fly the plane, do I I don't want them to fly, but I don't want me to fly either, necessarily. Even
That's not a good midway point. That's West Coast.
Yeah, it's totally a midway
like midway point would be like Cleveland, and I don't think any of us want to go there.
No, I'm good with not going. Yeah.
Sorry, Cleveland. Sorry.
Idaho
Just
is
saying.
Beautiful. It's beautiful here, though. So.
Oh, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
No one lives there. So Becky, I know nobody lives there.
Yeah.
But it's a midway point. That's the point of it.
We're hoping nobody lives here either. I prefer that. Not selfishly, Like, no, it's probably better in other places. You should move there instead.
I mean, I imagine the potatoes are fresher there.
I mean,
do you just pick them and then you eat them right off the? I don't know. Is it a bush? Is it a tree? How is it? Or it's underground?
Yeah, they're in the ground. Yeah.
So it's like a root.
Yeah. 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 I don't remember exactly what the technical term
Like,
is.
who was the first one that thought it was a great idea to eat a potato?
I don't know, with all things, Hey, I'm gonna try this and see. Well, it looks like Jimmy didn't die, so I'll eat one.
It's like that. It's amazing. How would they even know? Okay, let's dig up the ground and let's see what we can
Yeah,
find to eat under there.
yeah.
I mean,
Potatoes
how
off
do
the
you
vine.
find that out?
Uh,
Yes, I get the fact that I said off the vine. I get that, Becky. I do know what a potato is.
uh,
And after I said it, I realized that I shamed myself for saying it.
mm. Ooh, yep, yep. Yeah, mushrooms. Yeah. Well,
Yes,
mushrooms is
really?
still mushrooms is still a sketchy experiment if you go get them somewhere other than the store.
Right. It's like at some point, oh yeah, you can eat these. Look, Fred didn't die,
Mhm. Yeah.
so we can eat them. And then you get to a different mushroom, and then somebody dies, and like, oh, wait, what happened?
That one was that was
It's like now we got to pay attention to the colors.
that one looked a little bit different. I mean,
Right,
Jimmy looks fine. He looks a little strange. I don't know what happened with him, but Fred's gone. So
right.
don't eat the one that Fred ate. And Jimmy looks like he's having fun. So maybe he found fun mushrooms.
Fun mushrooms. See, this is the problem. So why didn't anybody think of this with potatoes? Gee, different color mushrooms do different things. What about
Yeah.
this red, the yellow, and the brown potatoes?
And the purple one. Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah. Beware.
well, see. All right, unicycle time in Idaho. Anybody out there that does that, please let us know. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
That rhymed. That was like a poem right there.
That was good. That was good.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
So, look, I don't see myself trying this anytime soon. Maybe if
I,
I was younger,
yeah.
I ain't doing it now. I'm too old for that.
It hurts to fall down. I don't like falling down. Yeah. It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I fall, it's that's it for the year for me.
Like, what are you gonna do? I'm going home.
Yeah, that's it.
Hopefully,
That's
I'm not
it.
going to the hospital, but I'm going home.
All right, so we only got a couple of minutes left,
Hey,
but we're gonna try to
yeah,
rush this out.
yeah. Let's hear it.
Top 5 Kevin Bacon movies. Happy birthday, Kevin Bacon. I think he's like, I
Oh,
don't know, 70 something.
happy
I
birthday.
forgot to look. 1958. So what is that? 40,
We're
67
doing
years old?
math. We're doing math on air now. That's
67 years old for Kevin Bacon. He's been in a ton of movies, let me tell you. Ton of movies.
yeah.
Have you seen any of his movies?
I have seen. I can't recall or think about which ones I have seen. I kind of feel like this is just like trying to do math on air. It's like, wait a minute, what movie? I don't know. Yes, I have for sure.
I'm sure you have. Even the
Yeah.
ones he doesn't star in, you've probably seen some
Oh
movies
yeah.
of them.
Yeah.
So, he's been in a lot, let me tell you. Wild Things with what's his face? Matt Dillon.
Mm-hmm.
R.I.P.D. The Rest in Peace Police Department or something like that, where he plays like a dead cop or something. I don't
Huh.
know. He's been in Diner, Quicksilver, the one with the bike. You might have seen that one, where he was a delivery guy on a bike.
I don't know if I've seen that. Huh.
JFK. Wasn't that
I don't know.
Kevin? What's his face there from Yellowstone?
Oh.
Costner.
Oh, Costner. Huh.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen that either, especially if it's a newer movie. I've seen however many, but certainly not all. I love that we
How
talk
about
about the
Animal
movie.
House? You remember Animal House? He
Oh
was
yeah.
in that.
Yep. Yep.
He was young back then.
Yeah.
He was in Black Mass. I did not realize he was in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Now I have to go back and watch it to make sure that he
Oh,
was in that.
that's a classic.
I know, and I don't remember him in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they looked very different, and it's there he is in this other little part over here, probably. I'm assuming.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
She's having a baby. Do you remember that one?
I don't
And
think
he
so.
said, she
No?
said.
Maybe.
Those are
I
the
don't know.
movies that followed, Footloose.
Oh, okay. Got it.
He was a household name then.
Yeah. Yeah.
So lots of movies. So let me give you my honorable mentions.
Okay.
Honorable mention, Friday the 13th. He was in the first one.
Wow.
Go figure, right?
Huh. Yeah.
I'm sure he died. Pretty sure he died in the movie because most people
Sure.
did. pretty sure. It's a safe bet. So, but the first one was good.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of them kind of.
Mm-hmm.
So I put that on the list because even though it didn't matter if he was in it or not,
Mm-hmm.
but I felt it deserves to be recognized.
Yeah.
I also have Tremors,
Oh.
where he was chasing worms,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. As you would.
and I put that in it because I thought the movie was kind of ridiculous, but my mom loved it, so I put it in
Oh,
there in honor of her.
interesting. Huh.
She
Yeah.
loved it. She watched this movie all the time, and I'm like, Mom, how can you watch this movie? She's like, I love it. And I'm like, okay, whatever. All right. I also have Hollow Man, where he was a scientist and he became invisible, and then he
Yeah.
did some bad things.
Seems like I've seen. I have seen that one.
It's a
Seems
good
very
movie.
familiar. Yeah.
It's a good movie.
Huh.
Entertaining. Not Oscar winner, but entertaining.
Yeah.
Also, honorable mention, Sleepers.
Ooh, that
With
sounds
a whole
very.
bunch of those,
Uh-huh.
like had Pitt in it, it had De Niro, had a whole bunch of people in there,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
lots of people. Good movie. And then my bubble movie, which would have been number 6, A Few Good Men.
Oh, yes.
If he was the main characters, I probably would have put it in top
Mm-hmm.
5, but because of that, I left it outside.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had a few good men on a recent list of mine. It was
Yeah.
in the top,
It's a good,
but it didn't
good
make it
movie.
this one. Didn't
Yeah.
make this one. All right, so my top 5, Becky. I'm sure you're gonna love all these movies. 57, 67. Yeah, 67. That must have been his age she was talking about. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Number 5, I have Apollo 13, and most rankings of his movies had that
Mm-hmm.
at number 1,
Oh.
but I could not put it at number 1 for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Could not put it at number 1. Love the movie, great movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I had 4 that I liked more. Number 4, I have Death Sentence, which probably, I don't know if anybody's seen this, but this is
Huh.
like, do you remember the Death Wish movies with Charles Bronson?
Oh, yeah.
It was like that, but
Oh,
actually better scripted.
okay.
It was so good. It was
Huh.
so good. Loved it. Loved that movie. It was
Huh.
awesome. Great Kevin Bacon movie. But the top 3 to me are, it's like some of my favorite movies, especially from Kevin Bacon, obviously, because I put him in the top 3 of Kevin
Mm-hmm.
Bacon movies. Number 3, I have Whitewater Summer with Sean Astin. Remember that, when he basically terrorizes these kids? He was like
Oh,
their leader for, a camp,
I
and kind of
don't think I've
terrorized them.
seen that one. Yeah, don't know that
So
one.
good.
Huh.
It's so good. He was a bully.
Huh.
Bully, bully, bully.
Hmm.
So, Yeah, that was a pretty great movie. I loved it. And I've seen it many times, many times.
Mm.
And of course, number two, and I know I'm gonna hear it from Kenny at some point today. I have Footloose at number two. I still love this movie. I think it's a great movie. Here he is, right over here, dancing.
Yep. Yep.
But I could not put it number one. Couldn't put it
Mm.
number one. And I know Kenny's going to be pissed off at me,
Mm.
but that's too bad. Number one, The River Wild, which is down below you.
Oh. Yep.
With Meryl Streep and all them,
Mhm.
and
Yep.
oh boy, does he put them through hell.
Yep.
That was such a great movie. I
Yeah.
loved it, and they tried to make a remake of it, and
Mm. Like many of them.
yeah, didn't do it.
Yeah.
It was just the cast, and that was just perfect. Perfect. So, The River Wild is my favorite of all the Kevin Bacon movies, including Footloose, Kenny. Sorry.
That's awesome. I love the movie topics and everything because I'm totally out of the loop on most of it. So I get a little exposure to, hey, have you seen this? And no, I haven't. I don't know what's going on.
That's why I love doing a top five with you, especially if I do it of movies, because you're not going to judge.
Yeah.
Some others, Ira, Kenny, they do judge.
Yeah, no judgment. I mean, it's easier. It's much easier when you're clueless.
It is, and it's easier to do the top five because nobody's in objection.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, you gotta be kidding me! How can you put that? See, they try to shame me into conforming.
Oh yes, into changing your top five.
Not gonna happen. I don't do it. I don't yield. I don't yield.
Nope, not happening.
So there you go. There's the top five. I loved it. Kevin Bacon, 67. Wow.
Yeah.
Seems like yesterday.
Going strong.
All right. So tomorrow I have Becky and Kyle, but wait, no. It is going to be me and Kyle coming back again tomorrow.
We're at it again.
So I'm sure we'll get into more deep conversations.
Ooh, it's going to be exciting.
And I'll have to bring, like a music top five or something.
Ooh, okay.
We'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
But it'll be myself and Kyle tomorrow. Becky will be back Thursday, with JJ. So, again, I haven't done a show with JJ. It's been months. Just saying. Something always comes up and I never get to do a show with her. Okay, so so stay tuned. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. with me and Kyle coming back. We're running it back again tomorrow. I'm loving it. We got to find out what's going on with Tony. So hope everybody enjoyed the show, and make sure I didn't even get to throw this up there. Where can they find you, Kyle?
Yeah, KyleMillerCoaching.com and Kyle Miller Coaching on all of the different socials. I'm on there. Yeah.
Get on there. Check it out.
Yep.
Hey, you never know.
Come say hi.
It's helped me. Look at all I've learned the last couple of shows I did with him. Ron's healing.
I love it.
All right. Have a great day, everybody. See you next time.
Thanks, everybody.